All right, so this is just We the People News. It's been the kids this minute. Um, all right, I'm not an attorney. I'm not giving legal advice. Educational purposes only. Uh, we just never look straight forward. We always look around us to be able to protect ourselves by any means necessary. So we got to take a look outside the box as well. Now, this one, I guess, is about marriage counseling and all that, from what I'm gathering. All right, Couples Academy. And this is what grabbed my attention right there. Uneth- okay? Unethical amnesia. So, if the cops are allowed to legally lie to you, are they truthful or liars? Right? Are they act? Can this lead into unethical amnesia? Right? Uh, don't they have to gaslight you and all this kind of stuff? Let's dig a little deeper of this concept, unethical amnesia. And well, it says unfaithful here, so yeah, spouse. So I guess it's uh, a relationship video. And by the way, y'all, I hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving, great Christmas, and I hope everybody enjoyed their New Year's and everything ended up going without a hitch. And let's check out this video here, right? Now, that being said, use that Second Amendment, arm yourself with knowledge, okay? No matter how you get it, if it complies, then, at least use it or look at it and understand, okay? Or comprehend.
Amnesia, we're going to dive in deep to.
All right, sorry, go.
We're talking about unethical amnesia. We're going to dive in deep to some things that I think are going to be really insightful. So let's do some reading. Here we go. People are prone to repeat dishonest acts because the human subconscious deliberately suppresses memories of unethical behavior. Scientists have found, like, for instance, fiddling expenses, cheating the tax man, and even extramarital affairs are all less likely to be remembered than virtuous acts because of the phenomenon of, here we go, unethical amnesia, according to researchers at.
Now, sit and think about all this, right? Now, wherever he got this at, okay, where's the cops? Where's the judges? Where's the attorneys in this? So what they are doing is kind of looking at us, we the people, that we're the only ones doing these bad behaviors, right? So just sit and think about that.
Northwestern universities. These include recoding previous actions by subconsciously dehumanizing the victims of dishonesty. Let's pause right there.
I agree. Well, let's pause right there. All right. How many videos have you seen? Well, if you just comply, you know, uh, I didn't have to do this. You know, all you had to do is stop, even though you didn't do a crime. Uh, but you made me beat you up and put you in jail, or Texas Code 3802, walking down the street. You don't have to identify yourself, but I'm a cop. You have to identify myself, right? So, unethical behavior. Okay? And then they gaslight. They make it your fault. Well, if it's not your fault and it's their fault, they know it. They're just over a power trip. When they fill out the paperwork, is it really a lie? Or do they have this? Sit and think about that.
That really stuck out. The subconscious mind does not recall because of a conscious dehumanizing of the victims. So it
Dehumanizing, right? Oh, you're a subject. You're beneath them. All right. Um, they'll say he'll say something. I did watch this video prior to, right? Uh, a subject, right? Men and women, natural rights, we the people, political power, subjects are, you know, subject to the kings. Okay, their lower form. Okay, and so they have to dehumanize you to get authority over you, even when you didn't do nothing wrong. But they have to come up with some excuse, especially if you talk back at them. Now you have damaged their pride, all right, their arrogance. Well, I can't allow that. I'm the law man, right? You little peasants. Didn't think about that, y'all.
and we see this, and listen, I've never served in the military, but I have talked to people who have, and I've researched and read up on acts of genocide and acts of war. If you have an enemy, okay, you have to dehumanize that enemy. You cannot personalize that enemy because that will cause you to have a level of compassion for that person. So you can't think about their name. You can't think about their family. You can't think about their childhood. You can't think about their feelings and emotions because as a human being, for you to now kill, maim, destroy another human life when you've given, I don't know, so much thought into who that person is, that would be a whole other thing. So you dehumanize them. And so
Yeah. So sit and think about that. Okay. Judges keep their emotions away, their compassion. All right. And to separate themselves. That way, it is easier to convict you to, um, you know, any time imprisonment. Officers, you are a subject, you're beneath them. And since you, little peasants, have backtalked him, now he's got to come up with something. Even though he took the oath of office, he violates the oath of office because he complies with what? Policy, right? The cops' policy that's written out for them cops does not apply to us, but they pass it to us to get power over you. Okay, um, there's countries that call other countries pigs and all that. Okay, what do? We do that with officers. Now, you demonize the officer, all right, but you're not supposed to do that with a clear conscience. Now, can you speak truth? Yes. Is that officer, judge, or attorney tyrants? Where if you are led to believe that they're acting in the contents of a tyrant, then you're speaking truth. You are not doing nothing wrong. You're letting them know. You give them a notice. You're being a tyrant. So don't demonize them, but speak the truth on them, right? It keeps your conscience clean, and it hits them in a sore spot to try to think through their process. Am I being a tyrant? Right? That goes with judges and attorneys and officers, your legislators, all them, right? If they separate the humanity from their emotions, then what can they do to you with their own clear conscience, right? How many times have you seen videos unworthy pop pop to people in the car with such a minor detail that cost somebody their life? Just saying. Was it justified? No, because it was a minor incident. Just saying.
That, for instance, in certain nations, when they've gone to war with each other, they've referred to their enemy as cockroaches. Because guess what? Who has compassion for a cockroach? You kill a cockroach. Let's go on. This is where it gets interesting. Moreover, forgetting wrongdoings of the past makes us more likely to misbehave in the future. Let's stop right there. We talk about this all the time. People who do not remember their history are bound to repeat it. This is why you can never forget. This is why you can't say, well, it happened in the past, it doesn't matter anymore. Why do we need to think about that? Stop thinking about that. Because if you don't think about it, then what's going to keep you from stumbling into the same scenario in the future? Because there is something called patterns. There are life patterns, there are historical patterns, there are behavioral patterns, there are relational patterns, and a pattern will continue to take place if we don't have a conscious awareness. And your conscious awareness now allows you to operate with intentionality. I can intentionally avoid, or I can intentionally begin to do based upon my awareness of what has happened. But if I don't remember my history, guess what, folks? I am bound to repeat it again. Now, there's another part of this, and I had to bold this. This is what it says. It says, we are social beings, and our basic need for self-worth is affected by moral self-views. It goes on to say, unethical behavior creates psychological distress and discomfort, and unethical amnesia lowers it. So, not only does my bad behavior affect you, not only does my bad behavior put you in a dark place, my own unethical behavior affects me. It makes me feel bad. It makes me feel low. It makes me feel less than. And so the only way that I can feel better about myself is to no longer think about it. The only way to feel better about myself is to forget it. Interestingly enough, in the book, by Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence People. In the first chapter of the book, it says that you should never criticize, condemn, or complain. In that particular book, it goes on to talk about how there's so many people in prison who will tell you that they didn't do it. They will tell you that they are in jail because of trumped up charges, and they're not guilty of the acts or the deeds that they have been in prison for. Well, why is that? How is it that you have a whole bunch of innocent people in jail? You don't. But nobody wants to admit.
And right there, I disagree with him. Okay? I told you guys over and over, they'll ignore Texas criminal codes here, 14, 15, and 16. And they created a policy or a statute bypassing the criminal codes. But it does not override their law. But yet, they use it to override the law, right? They arrest you and take you directly to jail, not directly to the nearest magistrate. So they broke the law, not you in that incident. And then they are making themselves justified. They're lying to themselves. Every judge, every attorney, they know this. They cannot be that ignorant of the law, right? And if they are, then think about it. Should they be in that position?
One's own wrongdoing. One would rather assume or believe or take on, the mental mindset that they are the victim and they were victimized and they're a subject to circumstances that were beyond their control and they should not be in jail. Now to this NFL mom a clip about her son.
All right. We're going to pause the rec and part 2. All right. Diesel We the People. Remember, never, never, never just look straight forward. Always look around you to be able to protect yourself by any means necessary. So I thought this was interesting, and even though my take on this is different than his, I'm led to believe and do believe it still applies. A liar that never confesses to the victim of any form always stays as a liar and can never give remedy, can never get forgiveness, can never give forgiveness, right? This is where I say judge, attorneys, and officers cannot be Christians. They can say they are, but a liar can never be. All right, these will be the People News. Bye, y'all.